Alright, if anyone was wondering why I've been these last couple days, I usually try to upload a couple of videos a week, but I wasn't able to because I got that virus. You know, the one that was very relevant, especially in the year 2019, going into 2020 and 2021 and you get the idea. So I've not felt that great to work on stuff, but I also don't have anything to do because I'm just locked in a room. My computer's in there, so I'm locked in there anyways, but now it's just worse, because now I'm locked in a room and I feel awful. So like with most people, I cope with stress and anxiety with humor, and I have a really messed up, scuffed sense of humor. One time in college, I had to do a lab where we were talking about the compound riboflavin, which is also known as vitamin B2, if people know about vitamins and stuff like that. And as a heavy procrastinator, I waited until the last minute to start working on this. But whenever that happens, to keep myself sane, I end up adding as much random humor into the project as I'm able to get away with. For the riboflavin project, we had to make a brosword talking about it. And so I made the entire brosword Guy Fieri theme, and I made the title of it, "We're gonna take a ride down to Riboflavin Town." That should really key you into exactly what's wrong with me, and that always comes out in full force whenever I'm tired, stressed, anxious. It all just comes out because nothing's holding it back at that point. So being sick, I realized the dumbest thing I could possibly do with my limited time is play Overwatch. So I decided to run an impromptu experiment where I see if being sick with a viral infection and being in constant pain will make me better at Overwatch, because I don't know, I've never tried it. Maybe it's like some kind of Venom situation. I've never seen Venom, but like the thing takes over the guy's body and it makes him like stronger. What if the virus inside of me just hijacks me and just gives me inhuman reaction speeds and makes me the best gamer on the planet? You never know. I've never tried it before, so that's what we're doing. 10 games of ranked on my main account. I'm Grandmaster 5 right now, so I need to try and grind it up at some point anyways. So we're just raw dogging it, going straight on main, playing 10 games of ranked, and seeing if I win more than I lose. That's going to be how we decide if this was a success or not, just purely based off of win rate. So without further ado, let's just get into cataloging the games. Alright, so starting out, the first game is important, since it will set the tone for everything else following. So we're going to start strong by locking the Zenyatta to start. None of that, just play Mercy and Pocket Garbage. We're going straight for one of the harder supports to play, and I can feel my head pounding in anticipation. And also pain. A lot of pain. It's like Venom. The viral infection only gives me strength. It's gonna take control over my body and improve my reaction speeds tenfold. Just to fucking watch. Oh fuck. Oh, and by the way, if you ever see reality start to fall apart around me like this in any of the clips, just don't worry about that. This has just become some normal Overwatch behavior for me ever since Season 5 started. It just happens sometimes. You get used to it at some point. After a few minutes, we finish first point, and then quickly take second point thanks to some very poor ultimate usage by the enemy team. That's the worst ult I've seen in a while. He is guaranteed dead there. We actually managed to get pretty far through the third point, which was pretty impressive considering our Sombra was not having a great game, to put it lightly. And our defense doesn't start off any better as I begin to slowly lose all sense of reality. Oh, I thought this was a spray. I'm really fucking losing it. What the fuck is this though? We managed to hold second for a while due to some, again, really questionable ultimates by the other team, but eventually we are forced back to third point, our final line of defense. I somehow managed to get a great use out of the Duke ultimate as the enemy Zarya threw up Grav just really high up and got 3 people with it, and since the Grav was too far away for her team to collapse on it, I was actually able to block a lot of damage with the barrier and prevent my teammates from dying in the Grav. This actually got us pretty close to winning. However, then disaster struck as one of my DPS, for absolutely no reason, decides to swap to Widow against a Sombra for the last 10 seconds of the match, and they then immediately get rolled at the start of the final fight. Oh, well, why did he swap Widow? However, my team was able to somehow stabilize through this mess, including a Sojourn ultimate, and then we were able to nano our tank in and win the fight. Who looks at this comp and says, ah yes, Widow is the swap into it. Winning our first game while incredibly ill. I literally had to take a few hour break after this just because bright lights make not feel good. Starting game 2, we get New Queen Street. We lose first fight, and then the enemy team has their support leave, and that's when I realized that we just lost a 5v4, and even though the other team won, the game still just got cancelled because their support never picked a hero and was just AFK. So yeah, losing a 5v4 at the start, we really dodged a bullet there on that one, getting that game cancelled. Going again, we get Gibraltar, which just goes absolutely horribly. We already lost a couple of people the first fight, so I ended up just sticking on KarQ to try and get as much distance as possible before dying. And then for some reason the enemy soldier drops down and then just runs away after I hit him once. Like, sir, I am a lone Zenyatta on the payload. I don't know why you are so scared of me. Thankfully his emotional support brig came over to help him out, and he eventually built up the courage to come over and kill me. We did get a bit further, but we end up just getting full held, and once again our team Sombra has gone 1-3 for that point. I really don't know what to with all the people just locking Sombra and then not performing well, and also just refusing to swap off of it. It has happened the first 2 games already, and it's something I've seen happen a lot, and I have no doubt that it'll happen again. However, just like the first game, on our defense they finally swap off Sombra, and our team starts to do a lot better. We actually managed to hold them almost the entire time, leading to one final fight with 30 seconds on the clock to decide who wins. Unlike game 1, this does not have a happy ending. We end up losing this fight, leading to a loss, making our record 1-1.
Come back is scary. And Lucio. Stay on point, stay on point, stay on point,
Alright, so game 3, we just get absolutely rolled on Symbole Monastery. I mean, just look at our scoreboard after losing first point. We just continue to get absolutely stomped through second point, before finally putting a stop to the roll and putting on a good fight for the third point. Ending the round in a very close overtime fight where the enemy team was right at the very end before... Oh, well, I guess we really do have some divine entity watching over us, because the server shut down. I don't know how, but thank you. So game 3, part 2, takes us to everyone's favorite map, Antarctic Peninsula.
Hey man, don't say the Lord's name in vain, man. That's not cool.
My bad.
Yeah, I feel better. It is your bad. I'm kidding. You're so sexy. Do you want to have you sex?
Okay, yeah, I probably can't show any more of this game, or we'll get demonetized. So, skipping to the end, we win onto game 4, which kind of just sucked. We got destroyed by a Winston for a few minutes, and then the game was just over. So moving on to game 5, we get taken to Brazil, where we have a pretty great team. We actually just managed to speed run straight through first point before... Oh wait, we never had another DPS. They never picked a hero. Well, there goes that for your win. So for the 3rd time in 5 games, we have to find yet another game. And we get Ilios, where I get trolled by my other support because he didn't pick a hero until the last 2 seconds. So I had picked Zenyatta, and then he just locked Lucio and I didn't notice. So yeah, we start off running Zen Lucio. And while we do win the first fight just because we have such an aggressive team comp with the Junker Queen, we eventually do just lose point because we don't have the sustain. So I swapped to Ana so we can actually win. And the game was actually pretty free from that point on. Second point, I did see the very unique interaction of a Junkrat actually just straight up murdering their own team's tank. So yeah, that was pretty funny. And we did end up winning that game, making our record for halfway through this 10 game run 3-2. All right, moving on to game 6, we get Numbani and oh, well, that sucks. I guess he was lying then. Well, that's nice. Game 7 gets off to a pretty bad start as I have to immediately swap off of Zen because the other team is running both Sombra and Doomfist, and I'm not in the right condition to deal with that. I did get absolutely fucked by a cast grenade that literally just curved around my barrier, like actual god tier grenade. And then in overtime, I hit the enemy Mei with the strongest whipshot the world has ever seen, which also shattered reality and sent her into fucking orbit, altering the timeline from one where we had lost that fight to one where we won. Really just an incredible moment in Overwatch history. Then on attack, we continue with the win and roll through the enemy team with very little resistance. We only lose one fight, the first fight of second point, but we still got a lot of KarQ progress during that. And then we just kind of came back and won a fight and rolled through the rest of the map, making our record 5-2.
Oh, killer.
Nice job.
Game 8 started off decently well. We take first point on Junkertown and then quickly almost get to the end of second point. Both teams are running a wife lever for the mirror match of the goddamn century. It was a special moment that both teams just committed to the wife lever picks. However, as soon as we hit the end of point 2, the tides turn, as they do. And we just get completely stomped and full held there for the rest of our attack. And this continued onto our defense, where we also just get completely stomped and end up losing. So on to our next game, where we get another all expenses paid trip to Brazil. And I mean, just look at it. Look at, not Brazil, look at our score here after round 1. What do you think happened? We got absolutely fucking rolled, giving us another loss. But will we be able to overcome this in our final game and finish positive? The final map, Rialto. Tension is at an all-time high. The bones in my body, they be creaking in pain. My nose, fucked up beyond all repair. But we're in this. Out of sheer desperation, I lock in the Mercy and pocket the Echo because they asked very nicely. We quickly finish first fight with a very strong start. But then it all begins to fall apart as we get completely demolished in an extremely long fight right before the end of first point. Unfortunate. We did get the KarQ pretty far, so even if we didn't cap first point, there's always a chance that we can end this set of games positive if we just finish off this game and win by playing the best Overwatch of our life. Well, yeah, so much for playing the best Overwatch of our life. That didn't go that well. So, where does this impromptu experiment lead us? Well, we finished exactly 50-50. So if we were using win rate as our answer, then it would probably be that being seriously ill and having a fucked up nose, constant head pain, throat pain, can't make call-outs. Being 50-50 would mean that it didn't have any impact on our performance, but I feel like as people would know, that's not really true. Overwatch is just Overwatch. I feel like if anything, this just confirms the 50-50 nature of Overwatch, that some games are just out of your control. Some games you are in control, but not a lot of them. Most of them are out of your control. As long as you don't actively throw, you'll probably usually have 50-50 win rate. But for more of a performance-based assessment, I would say that yes, it made me worse at aiming and made my reaction speed probably a bit lower than it was before. But the thing is that I was aware of that because of how bad I felt. So the fact that I wasn't playing as well due to being ill was kind of outweighed by the fact that knowing I wasn't going to play as good, I played much safer and much more intelligently with my positioning and what I was trying to do. Because sure, if you're good enough, you can kind of outskill your way in a lot of situations that you get yourself into that could lead to you being eliminated. But knowing I wasn't able to do that, I just tried to play more safe and put myself into much less of those situations. So overall, I would honestly say my performance did feel about the same. Even if I couldn't do as much, I was at least very aware of it and instead was able to do more in the long run by just playing safe, staying alive, and not putting myself into situations where I died. So yeah, kind of a disappointing result. I think it would have been really funny if I went 7-3 and could just say that being ill made me the best Overwatch player on the planet. But yeah, that isn't how things turned out. If I sound a bit better now, it's because I am. The first couple minutes of this video I recorded when I was really sick at the start, and then it kind of just took, a few days of working on and off whenever I felt well enough to do so, to write the script and get everything else edited. And this whole voiceover thing was done at the very end and added on top of everything. So I am doing better now. Normal uploads should still continue. But please, if you thought this was funny, you enjoyed my attempt at telling a story about my own suffering, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, and give feedback so that I can hopefully improve these kinds of videos in the future if I do more of them. So yeah, that's it, and until next time, see ya.